In a world where interactions with others form the fabric of our daily lives, understanding and accepting the nature of people can lead to a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. The philosophy of Stoicism, which originated in ancient Greece and was later refined by Roman thinkers, offers timeless wisdom on how to navigate our relationships with greater wisdom and equanimity. Central to this philosophy is the recognition of certain fundamental truths about human nature. By embracing these truths, we can cultivate a more compassionate, understanding, and resilient approach to our interactions, reducing unnecessary conflict and fostering deeper connections. The Stoics believed that by accepting the realities of human behavior, we can maintain our inner peace and focus on what is within our control. This acceptance does not imply resignation or passivity, but rather a proactive and thoughtful approach to dealing with others. It encourages us to see beyond superficial actions and understand the underlying motivations and influences that shape people's behavior. This perspective helps us manage our expectations, respond with empathy, and maintain our composure even in challenging situations. 1. People are imperfect. Accepting that people are inherently imperfect is a fundamental Stoic truth. Everyone has flaws, makes mistakes, and sometimes acts irrationally or emotionally. Expecting perfection from others leads to disappointment. Recognize that imperfection is a part of the human condition, and instead of focusing on others' shortcomings, focus on how you respond to them. Understand that everyone is on their journey of growth and learning, and just as you are patient with yourself, extend that patience to others. This acceptance will foster empathy and reduce frustration in your interactions. The Stoics believed that imperfection was an inherent part of being human, and they taught that we should not expect others to be flawless. When we recognize that everyone, including ourselves, is prone to errors and missteps, we can approach life with a more forgiving and understanding attitude. This does not mean we condone bad behavior, but rather that we understand its origin and work to address it constructively. By focusing on our responses to others' imperfections, we can maintain our inner tranquility and contribute to a more harmonious environment. This perspective also helps us avoid the trap of self-righteousness, where we hold others to standards we ourselves cannot meet. Instead, we cultivate humility and patience, knowing that growth is a continuous process for everyone. 2. People are driven by their perceptions. Individuals interpret the world through their unique lenses, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and biases. What may seem irrational or unreasonable to you might make perfect sense to someone else. By understanding that people act according to their perceptions, you can better navigate conflicts and disagreements. Instead of trying to change their views, strive to understand where they are coming from. This perspective not only enhances communication, but also helps you remain calm and composed in the face of differing opinions. The Stoics emphasized the importance of perception in shaping our reality. Each person's view of the world is influenced by their past experiences, cultural background, education, and personal beliefs. These factors create a unique lens through which they see and interpret events. When we encounter someone whose actions or opinions differ from ours, it can be tempting to judge them harshly or attempt to correct their perspective. However, the Stoic approach is to seek understanding first. By exploring the reasons behind others' views, we can engage in more meaningful and respectful dialogues. This does not mean we must agree with them, but rather that we acknowledge the validity of their experiences and the impact those experiences have on their perception. Such understanding fosters empathy and patience, reducing the likelihood of conflict and enhancing our relationships. 3. People seek their own interests. It is natural for people to prioritize their needs and desires. This self-interest drives much of human behavior. Recognizing this can prevent feelings of betrayal or resentment when others act in ways that seem selfish. Rather than taking such actions personally, understand that they are a reflection of human nature. This awareness allows you to set realistic expectations and maintain healthy boundaries in your relationships. By accepting this truth, you can focus on mutual benefits and collaborative efforts rather than dwelling on perceived slights. The Stoics taught that self-interest is an inherent part of human nature. People naturally seek to fulfill their needs and achieve their goals. This drive for self-preservation and self-fulfillment can sometimes manifest as selfish behavior, where individuals prioritize their interests over those of others. When we expect people to always act altruistically, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, by understanding and accepting that self-interest motivates much of human behavior, we can approach our interactions with more realistic expectations. This perspective helps us navigate relationships more effectively, setting boundaries that protect our well-being while also fostering cooperation. By focusing on how our interests can align with those of others, we create opportunities for mutual benefit and shared success. This approach reduces resentment and fosters a more collaborative and positive dynamic in our personal and professional relationships. 4. People are subject to emotions. Emotions play a significant role in shaping people's actions and reactions. Even the most rational individuals can be swayed by their feelings. Accepting this helps you develop compassion and patience when dealing with others' emotional outbursts or mood swings. Remember that you, too, are influenced by your emotions, and practicing self-awareness can improve your emotional responses. By acknowledging the power of emotions, you can approach others with greater understanding and reduce unnecessary conflicts. The Stoics recognized that emotions are a powerful force in human life. While they advocated for rationality and self-control, they also acknowledged that emotions are an inevitable part of our experience. Anger, fear, joy, and sadness can influence our decisions and behaviors, sometimes leading us away from reason. Understanding this helps us navigate our interactions with others more effectively. When we encounter someone who is acting emotionally, rather than reacting with frustration or judgment, we can respond with empathy and patience. Recognizing that emotions are a natural part of being human allows us to create space for others to express their feelings without feeling threatened or overwhelmed. This approach also applies to our emotions. By practicing self-awareness, we can identify when our feelings are influencing our actions and make more deliberate choices. The Stoics taught that while we cannot always control our emotions, we can control our responses to them. This wisdom helps us maintain our inner peace and navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. 5. People can be inconsistent. Consistency is often an ideal rather than a reality. People can change their minds, behave unpredictably, and sometimes contradict themselves. Accepting this inconsistency can alleviate frustration and disappointment. Instead of expecting unwavering behavior, appreciate the fluid nature of human actions. Flexibility in your expectations allows you to adapt to changing circumstances and maintain a sense of inner peace. This acceptance also encourages you to focus on your consistency and integrity, setting an example for others to follow. The Stoics understood that human behavior is not always predictable. People are influenced by various internal and external factors that can lead to changes in their actions and decisions. Expecting others to always act consistently can lead to frustration when they inevitably fall short. Instead, by accepting that inconsistency is part of human nature, we can approach our relationships with more realistic expectations. This perspective helps us remain flexible and adaptable, reducing the stress and disappointment that come from unmet expectations. It also encourages us to focus on our integrity and consistency. By striving to be reliable and true to our principles, we set a positive example for others. This focus on our behavior, rather than on controlling others, aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control. By accepting the fluid nature of human actions, we can navigate life's uncertainties with greater equanimity and grace. 6. people are influenced by external factors. External factors such as upbringing, culture, social environment, and life experiences significantly impact people's behavior and attitudes. Recognizing this influence helps you understand that people's actions are often shaped by forces beyond their control. By considering these factors, you can cultivate empathy and reduce judgment. This perspective encourages a more compassionate and forgiving approach to others' behavior, acknowledging that everyone is a product of their environment to some extent. The Stoics emphasized the importance of understanding the external factors that influence human behavior. People are shaped by their upbringing, culture, social environment, and personal experiences. These factors create a unique context for each individual's actions and attitudes. When we encounter behavior that seems puzzling or objectionable, considering these influences can help us respond with empathy rather than judgment. Recognizing that people are often acting based on their conditioning and circumstances helps us cultivate a more compassionate outlook. This perspective also applies to ourselves. By understanding the external factors that have shaped our behavior, we can approach our self-improvement efforts with greater insight and patience. The Stoics taught that while we cannot change our past or our environment, we can change how we respond to them. By focusing on our actions and attitudes, we can transcend the limitations imposed by our circumstances and strive for personal growth. This understanding fosters a more compassionate and forgiving approach to both ourselves and others, reducing conflict and promoting harmony. 7. People desire connection and belonging. The need for social connection and belonging is a fundamental human drive. People seek acceptance, love, and validation from others. Understanding this can help you navigate social dynamics more effectively. Recognize that behind many actions, even negative ones, is a desire for connection. By fostering inclusive and supportive environments, you can contribute to healthier relationships and communities. This acceptance also reminds you to be mindful of your actions and their impact on others' sense of belonging. The Stoics recognized the importance of social connection and belonging as fundamental human needs. People seek acceptance, love, and validation from their social groups. This drive for connection influences much of our behavior, even when it manifests in negative ways. Understanding this can help us navigate social dynamics more effectively. When we encounter behavior that seems driven by a desire for attention or acceptance, we can respond with empathy rather than frustration. Recognizing the underlying need for connection allows us to address the root cause rather than merely reacting to the symptoms. By fostering inclusive and supportive environments, we contribute to healthier relationships and stronger communities. This acceptance also reminds us to be mindful of our actions and their impact on others' sense of belonging. By promoting a culture of kindness and inclusivity, we create spaces where people feel valued and connected. The Stoics taught that by focusing on our actions and their alignment with our values, we can positively influence our social environments and contribute to a more harmonious world. 8. People have different strengths and weaknesses. Every individual possesses a unique set of strengths and weaknesses. Accepting this diversity is crucial for building harmonious relationships. Instead of comparing others to yourself or to an ideal standard, appreciate their unique qualities. Focus on how you can complement each other's strengths and support each other's weaknesses. This acceptance fosters collaboration and mutual respect, allowing you to build more resilient and effective teams in both personal and professional settings. The Stoics understood that each person has a unique combination of strengths and weaknesses. This diversity is what makes us human and enables us to learn from one another. Rather than comparing others to ourselves or an ideal standard, we can appreciate their unique qualities and contributions. This perspective helps us build more harmonious relationships, both personally and professionally. By focusing on how we can complement each other's strengths and support each other's weaknesses, we create opportunities for collaboration and mutual growth. This acceptance fosters a culture of mutual respect, where everyone's contributions are valued. The Stoics taught that by recognizing our strengths and working on our weaknesses, we can strive for personal excellence. This approach also applies to our interactions with others. By supporting others in their growth and development, we create a more positive and supportive environment. This perspective encourages us to focus on our actions and their alignment with our values, fostering a culture of collaboration and mutual respect. By accepting the diversity of strengths and weaknesses, we can build more resilient and effective teams, contributing to a more harmonious and successful collective endeavor. 9. People are capable of change. Despite the many fixed aspects of human nature, people have the capacity to change and grow. Accepting this truth encourages a hopeful and supportive attitude toward others. While change can be slow and challenging, believing in people's ability to improve fosters a positive environment for growth. Support and encouragement can significantly impact someone's journey of self-improvement. This acceptance also reminds you to remain open to your growth and the potential for positive change in others. The Stoics believed in the potential for personal growth and self-improvement. Despite the many fixed aspects of human nature, people are capable of change. This belief encourages a hopeful and supportive attitude toward others. While change can be slow and challenging, believing in people's ability to improve fosters a positive environment for growth. Support and encouragement can significantly impact someone's journey of self-improvement. This acceptance also reminds us to remain open to our growth and the potential for positive change in others. By fostering a culture of growth and development, we create opportunities for personal and collective progress. The Stoics taught that by focusing on our actions and their alignment with our values, we can strive for personal excellence and contribute to a more harmonious and successful collective endeavor. By recognizing the potential for change in ourselves and others, we can approach life with a more hopeful and supportive attitude. This perspective encourages us to focus on our actions and their alignment with our values, fostering a culture of growth and development. 10. People are ultimately responsible for their actions. While external factors influence behavior, individuals are ultimately responsible for their actions and choices. Accepting this truth reinforces the importance of accountability. Recognize that everyone has the power to make decisions and should be held accountable for them. This perspective encourages personal responsibility and integrity in your actions. By fostering a culture of accountability, you contribute to a more just and fair society, where people are encouraged to act ethically and responsibly. The Stoics emphasized the importance of personal responsibility and accountability. While external factors influence behavior, individuals are ultimately responsible for their actions and choices. Accepting this truth reinforces the importance of accountability. Recognize that everyone has the power to make decisions and should be held accountable for them. This perspective encourages personal responsibility and integrity in our actions. By fostering a culture of accountability, we contribute to a more just and fair society, where people are encouraged to act ethically and responsibly. The Stoics taught that by focusing on our actions and their alignment with our values, we can strive for personal excellence and contribute to a more harmonious and successful collective endeavor. By recognizing the importance of personal responsibility, we can approach life with a more just and fair attitude. This perspective encourages us to focus on our actions and their alignment with our values, fostering a culture of accountability and integrity. By accepting the importance of personal responsibility, we can contribute to a more just and fair society, where people are encouraged to act ethically and responsibly.